Hey, I'm Larry, and this is Carter's Country. Got Billy Carter with me here today, and we're going to talk about some long-range shooting that I did last week. You know, we had talked about the setup of the rifle and all that once I'd gotten the rifle and the scope and everything. Well, we actually went out to see how far I could stretch this thing out, how far I could stretch your patience, and how much ammo I could go through in one sitting. What we're going to do today, I think, is watch the video, kind of talk our way through some of what was happening.
We did start out at 150 yards. It's kind of more than anything, kind of check our zero per se. We were using Kestrel to get all the actual data off of, and it's what kept us going all the way out to 1,100 yards. We also had some range finding binoculars to verify the distance, and so we knew exactly what the distance were. We started out at 150 yards, and
this is probably the most confident I was all day. I'm glad we started at 150 because the rifle was zeroed in. I felt comfortable about that, but it was really good just to kind of, you know, test the setup I had with the back bag, the bipod and all that, get kind of a rhythm of what was going to happen there. So I was really glad we didn't just start stretching it from the start. And like you said, we noted, I think turret setting was on 19 at that point.
yes.
So, and I learned it's critical that you don't make a single shot without knowing your turret settings, because that's your base of information that you're making further adjustments on.
Which there was no actual adjustment necessary for the Kestrel going from 150 to 200. Is pretty much the same sight in it from there.
Right. The only complaint I have about the range is I wish they had bigger targets.
The point to stress is it's really not as hard to do as everybody thinks it is.
Yeah, I was overthinking just the very basics of it. One thing I wasn't expecting when I spun that 300 target, there's almost as much, if not more, satisfaction from a hit when you're doing something like this as if I was hunting.
With the 300-yard shot here, we did have to make an actual adjustment as far as like a 2.5 MOA adjustment up in elevation.
Right.
To make the 300-yard target connect.
According to the Kestrel and the wind,
Right.
you know, which that Kestrel factors in everything for us. And it was nice to have that, and the adjustment was successful, and you saw it was the adjustments we needed to make.
Correct. So let's see, at this point we're going to go to 400. Favor left edge.
400 yard was the first miss. Something else I learned, you don't want to adjust that scope to something that's not going to be the condition in a couple of minutes possibly. So you could hear on the video, favor left edge.
Yeah, well that's like the majority of the instructors I've had over the years have always said to hold the wind. I mean, so you don't make adjustment for windage unless
Right.
you just have to.
Right.
Which you'll see pretty quick that we had to make.
We did come into that.
So.
I don't know what's more satisfying, hearing that ting or seeing the target move. Both are really gratifying now.
Shot. But we also made an extra 1 inch, 1 MOA elevation change too.
Right.
Up and above what the Kestrel said. Very good, like we did before, just a little bit. Right. .5.
Yeah.
See an actual gong just kind of sitting there on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be our next target.
Holy crap, okay.
I mean, 2750, it really should.
Nice. Let's go with the splash.
900. That was a hit?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You see all the water that splashes up when you hit that one?
Yeah, well, I didn't know if I shot low or if,
Whenever it's a long line of splash,
yeah.
it means hits the plate that more shears a million pieces. That's what it shears
Holy
out.
crap, that's cool.
Okay, let's do that again. Same hole.
Same hole, Helene.
No pressure.
You already shoot the 22 arc out the distance?
Yes.
Oh, that one was high.
Keep it a little bit high.
A little bit high.
Yeah, just just right off the edge of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
The same hold.
same hole.
Did you hear my confidence there? Holy crap! Because again, size of target. I got an issue with them. At 600 yards, I hit. Felt great. We held left edge. Okay, make the adjustments. Let's go to 700. And I swear they put a smaller gong out there at 700 than they had at 600. I'm like, it's not cool, man.
Boom! There you go, buddy. Good confirmation.
It's really frustrating to hit, and then you miss the next one because you know the scope and everything else was right.
No,
You know
it's-
that there
it's
was.
the wind.
Yeah, but
See, now it's pretty good.
yeah, but I
You
tend
just
to
kinda
assume
wait
me
for it.
first.
Yeah.
Boom! Good to go. Do it one more time.
Give it a minute.
Send it.
Oh, okay. You hit, and then when you say, okay, do it again, I'm like, let's just move to the next one. That second shot's to validate the first one. And even a miss in this stuff can give you a lot of valuable information. It's not always a bad thing. It can go a long way to putting you back on the target. Yeah. So on the 900.
Oh, to 900.
Oh, just to the right side, please. So hold left edge.
Okay. Yeah, I saw just a wisp of dirt that time.
Yeah. Okay. Let's come up one full minute. Boom! There you go, buddy.
You know, as good as that first hit feels, the second one feels because on the first one you kind of in your mind, I might have been lucky.
Yeah.
But when you get two hits, it's like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah. There you go. Again, the first two rounds we're shooting low, so we didn't have to make another Kestrel
Exactly.
adjustment up
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
above another whole minute.
What you had to do to get from 7 to 8 may not have anything to do with what you've got to do to get from 8 to 9. You know,
It's all variable.
the variables are infinite in this. I think and I mean, really, it is between, you know, elevation change, humidity, wind, just so many things that every time you pull that trigger, all have to come together.
Right to the right.
Go over another half plate and hold to the left, please.
Okay.
The elevation is perfect.
All right. The one to the left.
One target to the left.
Yay! 1,000 yards,
Your cheer section, the layer cheer section back in the back. Layer me.
I figured out you got the longer line, the short, and the long. Two longer ones is one plate width, so I knew exactly how much I was.
That's what those grid marks are there for. You
Yeah.
use a reference sites like that.
Yeah, the 1,000 yards, getting into the 4-digit range there, and I mean, 900 was difficult enough. And if I'm telling my friends, which I have told all my friends, finally a valuable use for social media other than Carter's Country YouTube videos, I've let everybody know I hit it. What I've done. You say 900 yards, that should be impressive enough because it's difficult enough. Mm-hmm. But when you get into the 4 digits, when you say 1,000 or you just drop 1,100, they have to be impressed. Now they just don't have a choice, and I've made sure they all have been.
They all unfollow you and everything.
Yeah, they have lost a few followers.
One more time.
Do it again, buddy. Do it again. There you go. 2 in a row.
Two in a row. So yeah, at 1,100 yards, my mind was already blown when I hit 1,000. Honestly, I was like, we could have quit right then, and I would have probably just been thankful we weren't trying. I felt like the further out I go, the more I'm pushing my luck. But by that point, all along I had fully trusted your adjustments. By this point, I'm trusting myself, my trigger discipline. I'd been looking through that scope, all day.
Right. Well,
So I really felt pretty comfortable doing it.
let's bring it up. Not all day. It took how long to do that from start to finish? I think we started about 10 o'clock in the morning, and by like just shortly after noon, we were pretty much done and over with the
Yeah.
whole thing. So 2 hours time.
It felt like all day with the pressure and
I understand all that, but it's one of those
Yeah.
things. It's not a time-consuming kind of thing, really, truthfully.
that's true. We walked through it pretty crisply.
diligently.
Yeah, I honestly thought we were just going out there to get me to like 500-600 yards for the day.
Oh no, sir.
And then we just blew right past it, and I'm not bragging, trust me, because I was as shocked as I could be. But yeah, once you get in the rhythm of it, and again, the trigger pull, I'm starting to feel it. Like you're warming up for some other sport, and you get to that point, like, all right, I'm in my rhythm now. I actually got that here, and so the 1100. When I hit the first one, I was just so relieved, and when you said do it again, I'm like, whew. But then doing it again, that second shot, like I said, you go, hey, I'm legitimately done this.
Just for kind of product information for the sake of the video here, this is a Kestrel, and I've had this about probably 6 or 7 years now. The big thing is they come with different ballistic programs in them, and the one that seem to be the most popular, kind of like nationwide and worldwide, is the Applied Ballistics.
Applied Ballistics, okay.
This little machine does everything for you.
It's incredible.
So the rangefinders that we're using are the Swaro 10x42 EO ranges.
Okay.
Of course, there's many more less expensive like range-finding solutions out there.
Right.
I mean, you can get something that reads 1,000 yards for a couple $100 nowadays.
You can't get any better than the Swaros on your. That's a great piece of equipment. Yeah, and my rifle, it's the Bergara HMR, which stands for Hunting Match Rifle. It's kind of a hybrid there in the 6.5 PRC. Obviously, I'm more than pleased with it. That rifle can outshoot me, I promise you. It can do things that I can't. I had the Vortex Strike Eagle. And one thing I didn't think about till after I got back home, I had set that scope as power-wise when I was zeroing out at 100 yards. We were out there, I was shooting 1,100 yards, I never touched it.
What power was it on?
I'd have to go home and look. It just wasn't even a thought. I looked, I saw what I needed to see, and I shot, it was crazy.
Yeah, and that's also something that we would stress in the distance shooting is not constantly zooming in, zooming out kind of stuff. If you can get any targets, that's all that matters.
And that's how I was doing it. I guess I had so many other things in my mind, it never dawned on me to touch that thing. I was on the same power at 100 yards as I was at 1,100 yards. Was not a factor. Great equipment, all purchased here at Carter's Country, of course. The Hornady 147 grain match was the rounds I used. Really glad you were there. Otherwise, the gun would be there in pieces because I'd have gotten so frustrated and wrapped it around an oak tree or something. And my cheerleader, I heard a couple times, hey, So they're very supportive, at least on what made it to video. Very supportive. But anyway, if you're thinking about needing a hobby that you can do year-round, doesn't involve deer leases or anything like that, and you don't want to have to mess with cleaning an animal after making a successful shot, and you've already got plenty of meat in your freezer, I'm telling you, long-range shooting, it's opened my eyes and been a lot more fun than I imagined it would be, and it is very rewarding to do. So you need to come in, get equipped, and give it a shot. Remember, if you've ever shot, or hunted with us, you're already a part of the Carter's Country family. Till next time, adios.
Straight from 1,000 right to 11. There wasn't a whole lot in between. I think we were getting a little rushed for time at that point.
Somebody was editing late at night.
No, this was this morning.
Wow.
When you were like, are you ready yet? How about this and this? What are you even doing over there? I'm bored. And I'm like, if you shut the up, maybe I'll be done faster.
It's funny how you use a voice for me. My wife uses it, except the one she uses is like. I just
Did you see
need.
the one where you missed and you got so frustrated with yourself? Thought you were gonna say something funny about that. It's fine.
I just wanted to skip past that part.
Stuff
Really.
I left in there on purpose just to see if you could react to that. Like where you were mean to me.
Oh, God forbid.
Tell them what I said that you said was mean.